Your blood type reveals the secret to how long you'll actually live. Two people can live identical lives, same food, same sleep, same neighborhood, yet age in wildly different ways. One stays sharp as a tack at 70, while the other starts to crumble at 55. Researchers are convinced there's a hidden biological factor explaining this massive difference. And once you know what it is, you'll never look at your own blood type the same way again. If you're serious about taking control of your health and aging well, hit that subscribe button right now. We share simple, practical advice tailored for you. And stick around until the very end, because the biggest revelation is coming, and it could change everything about how you approach your health. You already know the usual suspects. Eat better, move more, sleep longer, manage stress, cut sugar, watch sodium. And if you're watching this, you've probably been doing most of it, right? You've been trying. So why do some people do everything right and still feel like their body is aging at warp speed? Why does one person hit 65 feeling vibrant and in control, while another the same age, with similar habits, is exhausted by noon, foggy by evening, and collecting diagnoses like they're inevitable? Most doctors point to the obvious, but a quiet group of researchers has been asking a different question for years. What if one of the most significant factors shaping how you age was never on that list? What if it was already inside you, fixed, biological, present from birth, and nobody ever told you it mattered? Your blood type. Now, before you dismiss this as another fad diet myth, understand this is based on decades of real population research. Scientists tracked thousands of people, looking at who developed heart disease, who experienced early cognitive decline, who carried higher inflammatory loads, and who aged with less biological resilience. The data kept pointing back to one variable: your blood group. A major study found that non-O blood types have a measurably higher cardiovascular risk. This is linked to a clotting protein called von Willebrand factor, which your blood type directly influences, impacting circulation under pressure, not just for a week, but across your entire lifetime. And cardiovascular strain is just one piece of the puzzle. Researchers have also linked blood type to immune system aging, inflammatory patterns, metabolic efficiency, and most unsettlingly, the microscopic vascular changes in your brain that begin long before any symptoms appear. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about something far more useful. Your blood type doesn't determine your fate. It reveals the specific terrain your body navigates, the systems most likely to wear down first, the places where silent damage builds. Once you understand that terrain, you stop guessing with generic advice. You start making decisions based on how your body actually works. Most people get longevity wrong. They see it as a finish line. How many years can I add? How do I avoid dying too soon? But the real question is different. Aging isn't uniform. It doesn't wear down a body evenly. It finds weak points and exploits them slowly, quietly, over years, sometimes decades, before anything noticeable surfaces. For some, the weak point is cardiovascular, stiffening arteries, rising blood pressure. For others, it's the immune system, becoming overactive or underactive. And for still others, it's the brain, not from a sudden event, but from microscopic vascular changes that begin in midlife, long before memory problems surface. This process is called inflammaging, a low-grade chronic inflammation that's a primary driver of nearly every major disease of aging. Your biological age and chronological age are not the same. A 58-year-old with decades of unchecked inflammation can be biologically closer to 75, while someone younger who understood their vulnerabilities might be tracking closer to 48. That gap isn't fate. It's information acted on or ignored. And what determines where your body breaks down first? That's where your blood type comes in. Let's start with type O, the most common blood type. Good news first, type O appears to be the most cardiovascularly resilient. This is because type O individuals carry lower levels of von Willebrand factor, meaning lower clotting tendency and cleaner circulation over decades, a powerful predictor of cardiovascular longevity. Studies confirm non-O blood types have significantly higher rates of coronary artery disease. On the surface, type O looks like the longevity winner. But science complicates things. The same biological efficiency that protects the heart comes with a vulnerability most type O individuals never connect to their blood: the digestive system, specifically the bacterium Helicobacter pylori. Type O individuals are significantly more susceptible to H. pylori due to specific antigens on their red blood cells that the bacteria bind to more effectively. What does this mean practically? A type O person might assume they're fundamentally healthy because their heart is strong, while silent inflammation quietly builds in their gut for decades. Bloating dismissed as sensitivity, discomfort as stress. This pattern is crucial. Every biological advantage has a trade-off. Type O gets a stronger heart but a more vulnerable stomach. The danger isn't the vulnerability itself, but never knowing it's there. Now, if Type O's hidden vulnerability lives in the gut, quiet and dismissible, Type A's vulnerability lives where most people don't look, in the body's response to pressure. Type A individuals seem to have more reactive stress biology, higher baseline cortisol, a cardiovascular system that responds more intensely to stressors, and higher clotting activity than Type O. Stress isn't just emotional, it's physiological. Chronically elevated cortisol remodels your biology, damages blood vessels, raises blood pressure, increases insulin resistance, and accelerates inflammatory aging, silently, with no obvious symptoms. Imagine two Type A individuals, one in a high-pressure career, sleeping little, absorbing stress. The other learned to manage pressure and prioritize rest. At 65, they won't look biologically alike. Prolonged cortisol elevation is directly linked to endothelial dysfunction, the gradual loss of blood vessel lining function, a key early stage toward hypertension and heart disease. For Type A, the threshold might be lower. This doesn't mean Type A is a death sentence, but the lifestyle decisions ignored in your 40s have a compounding biological cost that arrives without apology in your 60s and 70s. So far, we've seen vulnerabilities that are quiet and gradual. Type O's in the gut, Type A's in stress biology. Type B follows the same pattern, but the system at risk is different and perhaps more unsettling: the immune system. Type B individuals appear to tolerate a broader range of nutritional environments. Their systems adjust. This flexibility, however, can come at a cost to immune system precision. Research shows Type B individuals have elevated associations with certain autoimmune conditions, where the immune system turns on the body's own tissue. Autoimmune aging doesn't announce itself. It moves like fog, slowly, gradually. Joint stiffness dismissed as age, fatigue normalized, inflammatory flares that come and go. Each symptom seems manageable, but collectively, they represent the immune system losing its ability to distinguish friend from enemy. Studies link Type B blood to higher risk for conditions like lupus, where immune dysregulation is the central mechanism of damage. The tragedy is how long most people carry these symptoms before they're connected to a systemic immune pattern, not isolated complaints. Type B's adaptability can mask early signals of a system losing precision, and a system that has lost its precision doesn't recover on its own. Every blood type discussed so far has followed a pattern, a strength, a shadow beneath it. Type O, strong circulation, exposed gut. Type A, driven, paying a biological tax on pressure. Type B, metabolically flexible, with an immune system that can lose its footing. Type AB is different. It's the rarest blood group, a biological fusion carrying antigens from both A and B, creating a unique immune profile. While Type AB may show lower inflammatory reactivity in some contexts, a study in the journal Neurology found a significantly higher likelihood of cognitive impairment later in life compared to every other blood group. The mechanism? Not large strokes, but microcirculation, tiny blood vessels deep inside the brain, microscopic shifts in flow, subtle inflammatory changes accumulating in the smallest vascular channels responsible for oxygenating neural tissue. Small vessel disease, silent and invisible on scans until years of progression. Your brain ages through its blood supply long before behavior changes. Protecting cognition isn't something you do after symptoms appear. It's something you do now, in the years when nothing feels wrong. That window is when intervention still has power. Type AB's remarkable biology doesn't mean invulnerability. Here's something worth pausing on. Everything we've covered, the clotting proteins, stress hormones, immune dysregulation, brain microcirculation, has been built around the letter of your blood type. But there's a second part most people know even less about, the Rh factor. The positive or negative. Rh-negative individuals have a fundamentally different surface protein profile on their red blood cells. This difference extends into how the immune system signals, responds to threats, and reacts to inflammatory triggers over time. Studies show measurable differences in how aggressively immune signaling fires under stress between Rh-positive and negative individuals. You can share the same blood group letter but have meaningfully different inflammatory profiles simply because of your Rh status. Most people optimizing their health never factor in their Rh status. They know their letter, but not their complete profile. And that gap matters. Longevity research is moving toward personalized biology and individual risk mapping, recognizing that generic advice is optimized for no one. Your group tells one part of the story, your Rh factor tells another. Together, they form a biological portrait specific to you, influencing how your body responds to stress, manages inflammation, and ages, whether you were aware of it or not. So many people chase the right supplement, the right diet, the right routine, while a fundamental piece of their biology sits unexamined. One day, your family may wish you had paid attention sooner. Here's where everything lands. We've explored the science of clotting proteins, stress hormones, immune dysregulation, brain microcirculation, and the Rh factor. If you've been listening, you might feel a quiet unease, a sense that your body has been running a program you weren't briefed on. That unease is useful. But here's the crucial turn. None of this research says your blood type is your destiny. Not one study. The science reveals tendencies, predispositions, biological patterns that increase the probability of certain kinds of damage. There's an enormous difference between predisposition and inevitability. This is where epigenetics comes in. It's the study of how lifestyle and environment influence gene expression. Daily behavior has the power to modify how aggressively genetic risk unfolds. Your genes load the gun. Your habits decide if it fires. A type A individual who protects sleep and manages cortisol might biologically outperform a type O who ignores every signal for 30 years. The biology is not the final word. It's the starting point for a smarter conversation. The people who age the hardest are almost never those with the most genetic risk. They are the ones who carried risk they never understood and therefore never addressed. The people who age the best are not those with perfect blood types. They are the ones who learned their body's specific vulnerabilities early enough to work with them instead of unknowingly against them. That's the real longevity equation. Awareness followed by action. So, let me ask you this. What is your blood type? And looking back honestly at your health history, the fatigue, inflammation, stress, digestive issues, does any of what we discussed tonight explain patterns you've been living with for years? Leave your blood type in the comments. Understanding how your body actually works is not optional. It's the difference between aging on your own terms and being blindsided by damage that was never inevitable. Thanks for watching all the way through. Staying informed is key to a healthier, longer life. If you want more simple, practical health advice, make sure you subscribe and tap the next video on your screen. And before you go, leave a comment and rate this from 1 to 10. Your feedback helps create better guidance for you.